Hello everyone, welcome back to Nails and Sunflowers. So for today's video, I am going to do one of my best friend's manicure. She has been coming to me for quite a few years now, and she always gets long nails with really pretty designs. So I started doing the removal on her right hand, and I realized you could not really see properly, so I skipped that and I'm going to show you the left one. First of all, I try to remove all the color and the top coat and just try to leave the gel itself because I want to check if she has any lifting. And in case she does, I'm going to carefully remove that. To be honest, this time she did not have pretty much any lifting whatsoever except on her index finger on her right hand, which is quite normal since it's her dominant hand. As you can see, I go really slowly and with no pressure, especially on the cuticle area and the side walls. Those are really sensitive areas where it can easily burn. Then I ask if she wants them shorter or not, and I remove with the bit whatever she wants to be removed. And now you can watch me remove the rest in a very, very, very fast way. For some reason this made me laugh when I was editing it. It looks a bit crazy, doesn't it? And yeah, as I said, she didn't have many lifting, and this is the index finger that I was telling you. She had a little bit of lifting on the right side wall. Yes, she is stroking my hand every time I do her thumbs. She always does this. By the way, I didn't tell you the speed of the e-file is at 35,000 rotations per minute. Now, I don't know how I managed to change the angle of the camera with my Apple Watch, but bear with me, okay? This is the very first time that I'm trying to film while I'm doing a client, and I'm actually surprised that I got some decent footage at all. So basically, I just try to lightly shape the nails, not much, because we are going to do that after the hard gel application. Yes, by the way, these are her natural nails. She has had these long of natural nails for years now, and yes, that is what happens when you take care of natural nails properly. So yeah, basically just trying to lightly shape it to the almond shape that she's gonna want, and then just prep the rest of the nail with the 180 grit file. As you can see before, I had already done this on the right hand, so I compare the sizes of the index fingers and then I move from there to the rest. I do index and ring finger on the same size from the cuticle down, and then the middle finger is going to be about 1 or 2 millimeters longer, and same for the thumb. I know because it's sped up, it seems like I'm being really rough and I'm going over and over on the same spot, but I'm really not. Now to start the Russian manicure, I'm just pushing back and lifting the cuticle. Always gently with an orange wood stick. Now for the flame bit, at 17 rotations per minute, I'm going on the left side wall. I first start pushing the skin back with the bit, and then I lightly remove any cuticle or dead skin on the nail blade. You always want to be gentle with this. You can really hurt your clients, and I'm not just talking about making them bleed, which you never want to do, but actually hurt the nail blade. For some reason, she really enjoys this process, and whenever I'm done with it, she's like, oh, this is already looking better. Which it is, to be honest. I do enjoy a good Russian manicure myself. If you ever gotten one and you're scared because you think they're gonna hurt you, or they actually have hurt you, please don't go back, first of all, because they're not doing it properly. It should never hurt. It's not a damaging or painful process. It shouldn't be. Once I move to the other hand and that's done, I change to reverse, 70 rotations per minute again, and I go on the right side walls of both hands. And then with my scissors, I carefully go over all the dead skin. You only want to cut the dead skin. And it's very important that you angle your scissors properly. Let me know in the comments if you actually want a more detailed version of this, if you actually want me to explain what I mean with all the weird things that I'm saying. Otherwise, I'm not gonna go into much detail explaining or actually zooming in, because otherwise this video would be 40 minutes long, and it's already long enough. Super speed cutting. Again, this made me laugh so much when I first watched it. Now with the same flame bit on forward at 8,000 rotations per minute, I'm just buffing the skin. And as you will see, I am also not afraid to go back on certain areas if I have left a tiny bit of a hangnail or something that I missed before. My silicone bit, 8,000 rotations per minute, I am buffing the skin so she doesn't get hangnails in the future. And this is how I make sure that the nail plate is completely clean with alcohol. I take my orange wood stick and I fold a lint-free wipe with the alcohol and try to get under the cuticle with the wipe. And of course, here we go, we're starting the process. We did dehydrator and non-acid primer on the tips of the nails. This step should not be necessary if you have already dehydrated the nails and you get a good retention. You don't need the acid-free primer or any primer. But I find that with her nails, they're this long, and she does things around the house like she is living her life normally. I fear she would get a bit of lifting on the tips if I didn't do this, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. And now with the rubber base, I did a blob on the tips, and now I'm taking my gel brush and just really massaging it in. Also, I do with the gel brush because I want this layer to be super thin, as thin as possible. This is just my pre-base, let's say. It also allows me to go under the cuticle with this brush, whereas if I was using the bottle brush, I would get too much product. I do love this rubber base. In general, I love this brand, Hello Gel or Hey Love. I'm not really sure what the name is anymore, but I really love it. The rubber base lasts, like, this is my favorite way of prepping the nail. And their smart gels are absolutely amazing. And now for the hard gel, I am using this one from Andrea, I think it's called. As you can see, this is very well loved, almost run out of it. I love this, it holds on so well on the nail. It was what she had before that you saw me remove in this video, and she had barely any lifting. I do a very thin layer because I wasn't sure what color we were going to do on top. Now, I always want to be thin with my hard gel anyway, but because I wasn't sure if we were going to do one of the Hey Love tint bases on top, you have to do quite of a thicker base if it's a tint base. I mean, they're not meant to use as a gel polish, but I do because I want to do hard gel overlays on all my clients. I don't like rubber base overlays. I'm sorry if I'm hurting someone's feelings, but I've read too many bad things about it, and again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I know hard gel does not burn, does not chemically hurt your client, so yeah. And anyway, it looks amazing anyway. Like, you don't have to use the tint bases to do the overlay. You can use them on top of hard gel as a gel polish. The only thing is you have to do a slightly thicker layer than you would with a gel polish. So I always go as thin as I can with the hard gel. Get the structure right, always. But I always want my nails to look as thin and natural as possible. I'm removing the sticky layer, and as I said before, this is when I do the actual shaping. Yeah, this is us comparing her pinky sizes, because on her left hand, her pinky has a much larger free edge than on her right hand. That can happen between nails, but you can see when I compare them next to each other, they're the same length, the whole nail from cuticle to the tip. So I leave them like that because when you put the color on top, you don't really see the difference. It's just that when you can see the free edge, the difference is so big. It actually made us laugh, and she was like, "What do you mean?" She wasn't understanding what I was saying. And yeah, then she actually told me, "Oh yeah, that's why I always think that this pinky is super large compared to the other one." You can see her now comparing them and actually realizing what I was saying. But yeah, I basically shape the nail to the actual almond that she's gonna wear, and then I buff the top just to make it smooth. I don't really try to be perfect with my hard gel application. That's why I just go over it, because I know that I'm gonna have to shape the nails after the application, and also trying to make the tips not thick. You're gonna see that I'm filing under the nail afterwards, because my goal for the past year or so, not even a year, is that the nails, as I said, look thin but also feel thin for my clients. All of them noticed the change when I switched to this technique and I did the course and everything. They all came back saying, okay, these nails are much more comfortable. It is a bit of a longer process, don't get me wrong. I have been speeding it up compared to when I started doing it, but it is a bit longer to do. Maybe 5-10 minutes tops. As I said, I just go with this very thin carbide bit at 20,000 rotations per minute. And it's not about filing the natural nail, it's just about making the tip of the nail as thin as possible. There's a natural nail there that needs to be removed to do this, then I do so. Sometimes it's just the hard gel, it just depends. And I'm very sorry if throughout this video you can see my head just popping in the middle of the screen, and my glasses. I've noticed my glasses get in the way so much. As I said, this is the first time I'm filming, so bear with me. I'm even surprised that I managed to get any footage for you guys. I thought I would be way off camera, or I don't know. So now for the color, she chose the Hey Love Wine tint base. It's so beautiful. I'm really not a fan of red. Burgundy is kind of one of my loves, and this one is just like the perfect combo between red and burgundy. And just you could see, I do a very thin layer first, and then I do a slightly thicker one just to level the nail and to make the color really pop. That's how I use the tint bases on top of hard gel. If it was a client that only gets gel polish, doesn't get any kind of overlay because she wears her nails very short, or she doesn't want the overlay, or she doesn't need it. I have a few clients who are lucky enough not to need an overlay. I do the pre-base that I showed you, then a thin layer of a harder base, and then I do this. I mean, it's the same process, it's just that instead of hard gel, I use a base. Let me know if you would want to see how I do that, or if you would actually want to see how I use these tint bases as not an overlay but just a color. I can do a more in-depth video about it. And now for the design, we are going on the edge of the nail. As you could see, I wasn't very concerned about it while I was applying the color. I didn't go deep into under the cuticle or the side walls. I just didn't care because I knew we would be doing this. We chose a darker burgundy color and we are going all over the edge, and I'm fading it to create this sort of aura effect in the middle, where it's lighter in the middle and then it goes deeper. And then to give it all a bit of more like red tint, because this was all kind of pinkish undertone burgundies, she wanted it to be more red. So I took a transparent red that I had and I went over it. It helped with the fading and it helped with the undertone that she was looking for. And now for the top coat, I'm going with the Hey Love again. This is the Wow Glossy top coat, I'm pretty sure. It's not non-wipe, which is a bit of a pity, but it is quite nice. It's very glossy, as the name says. It's quite liquidy. It's not really a thick consistency, so if you don't like that, then I would avoid it. I personally don't mind because, as you can see, I do 2 nails at a time and I flip them over so the gravity helps, and then I cure 2 at a time. Sorry for the noises. I am recording this voiceover at 8 a.m. Not even. It's not even 8 a.m. in the morning, and I don't know what's going on the street of my house. Like, I was pretty sure this would be a quiet moment, and turns out it's not. I'm very sorry if you can hear noises. And now final filing. I go over the edges just to make sure that everything is smooth, and then I go underneath again, just again to make sure that it's as thin as possible. For some reason, watching this back, it's really satisfying. I don't know why. Like, maybe it's because I know the difference this makes up close and for the client. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so satisfying for me. And then I wiped the nails. You didn't see that, but I did. Removed the dust, and we're done. You can see how happy she is, which made me very happy. And this is the final result after some oil and some hand cream massage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!